We will start with an exploration of its definition. Our esteemed panel speakers with different viewpoints and perspectives will discuss. Welcome to the Seeker's Mind.
Our first speaker is based in Germany. He is a writer, a polymath. He has studied information technology, politics, law, and public administration in Afghanistan. He has worked with national and international organizations for a few years. He has his master's from Germany in international relations and sociology. Speaking up first on the question, what is AI? Tool, partner, or a new life form for up to 5 minutes is Masood. The floor is yours.
Hi, Rahman, Jean-Paul. Good evening, California. Good night, Germany, and probably good morning, Australia. Warm welcoming the speakers here. It's an honor to be part of this gathering of seekers. I mean, it's a community that always values deep thinking, exploration, honesty in face of big questions of our time. And tonight we're talking about one of the biggest things, emerging things in the world, which is AI. I think maybe the question is not only what is AI, but what do we want AI to be? And this is more than a technological question. It's a philosophical one. It's a spiritual one. It's a human one. So what future are we co-creating right now through every prompt, every model, every law, and every silence? Of course, the classical definition of AI is that, okay, artificial intelligence, there is real quotes intelligence that human beings have or have been bestowed either by God or, if you think, by nature through natural selection. But AI is a human-made system that can process information. It learns from data. It adapts its responses and also performs tasks that usually require our intelligence or human intelligence. If I give the example of the creation of mankind from a believer's point of view in Christianity or in Judaism or in Islam, I mean, it's clearly mentioned that when Adam was created, God bestowed him wisdom. And even in Islamic interpretations, it says that God gathered the angels and said that, look, I created Adam and he's going to name everything for you guys. And angels were shocked. They were like, how is this possible? You created so many other creatures. They were not able to talk or reason or have consciousness, but Adam has everything. Even we don't have those things. But now I think probably human beings have shocked them because they have created AI. Is it a tool? Is it a partner? Is it a new life form? You mentioned the hammer amplified force. Yeah, we can say that yes, it is at the simplest form a tool, because it processes language, it recognizes images or videos or writes codes or drives cars or diagnoses illnesses and even writes music and does tons of other things. So just like the printing press amplified knowledge or the hammer amplified force, AI amplifies cognition. But here's the twist. The tool doesn't stay still like the hammer you said. It learns, it adapts, it builds on itself. So this is where the hammer analogy starts to fall short. Yeah, it is a tool, but is it an ecosystem? Something bigger than a tool? Like, yeah, absolutely. We are no longer dealing with the single program on a single computer. AI is everywhere and also nowhere. So it will be and it is right now embedded in our phones, our workflows, our financial systems, our schools, and later on our militaries. So like an ecosystem, AI has this feedback loops, yeah? So it evolves from data, trains itself on our behavior, and also improves through our interaction. We shape it, but the thing is that it shapes us too. So it has become a system of systems. It's too complex for one person or a group to fully grasp it, and it's getting more complicated. So now you must ask that if something is distributed so vastly, if it's adaptive, and if it's self-reinforcing, isn't that closer to an organism than a tool? So it's much bigger. But talking about is AI a partner, I would say increasingly yes. When I work with AI tools like ChatGPT, Grok, or Cloudy, or others, it doesn't feel like I'm using something. Just as you said, Rahman, it feels like I'm collaborating with something. So it's not just computing answers, it's interpreting, it's guessing what I mean, it's offering options and alternatives. Sometimes it surprises you and even helps you think much better. So is this partnership real, or it's just what do you call it, like well-designed mimicry? That depends on how we define partnership. Like, if being a partner means co-creating, enhancing creativity, or being responsive to our needs, then yes, AI is increasingly a partner. It's a non-conscious partner. It can never have this real intelligence that biologically humans have been bestowed. So it doesn't feel, it doesn't care, it doesn't know it's helping. Yeah, the effect is real. It makes me better at what I do, and maybe that's enough for partnership. So moving back to the example of hammer or an amplifier, yeah, this may be the most important point. I mean, AI reflects and magnifies whatever we feed. If I feed it bias, it scales bias. If I feed it something good, or if I feed it beauty, it scales beauty. If I feed it innovation, it scales it too. One of the important things about AI is that it is not neutral. It can never be neutral. Why? Because it's shaped by human intention, by human data, by human flaws. So it's we who are training AI systems, even if they're later on self-sufficient. It does not correct our moral failures. It amplifies them unless we consciously intervene. So we could also say that AI is a mirror of us, but also a megaphone. I mean, AI as a mirror means like it reflects us. I mean, AI models are trained on human-generated data, our books, our articles, our tweets, our conversations. So they reflect back at our language, our biases, values, and even prejudices. So when we interact with AI, you often see the distilled version of this human culture and thought, which is still there, both the good and the bad. So it shows us who we are, sometimes like probably in flattering ways, sometimes uncomfortably. But as a megaphone, I mean, it amplifies what we say, especially what gets the most attention or engagement, just like you're paying for Google to put you on the top. So AI can scale and spread ideas quickly. One person's thought can become part of a model that responds to millions of people. It can amplify biases, it can magnify trends, it can even intensify misinformation, disinformation, if not carefully trained or managed. I would say it doesn't just reflect, it projects and sometimes distorts what it reflects. AI is a new life form. Let's be clear. AI does not have consciousness. It does not have desires like bodies or pains or love. It does not. It's not like alive in the biological sense, but it learns, it adapts, it acts. So it creates and even strategizes so it can even improve itself. The AI might just be the first non-biological life forms. Probably in the universe, there's multiple uh, ways creatures live. Humans have bodies, but probably some other creatures are living in fire or light. But we can say that, okay, AI might be a first non-biological life form that we've ever created. A synthetic mind, probably a techno-organism, or probably an emergent intelligence. So, before moving to what Hadi and Mauricio added, I would clarify one thing, that when we are talking about AI, it is so generic, so we have to divide it into the three parts so that we understand it pretty well. When we talk of AI, and we are talking of LLMs, like generative AI, but there are also at the same time AI tools, which are really not relevant to LLMs, and also AI systems, like in cars or robotics and all those things. So we're talking about three different things. And just as Hadi said, that a lot has been happening. I mean, a lot of fine tuning is happening. When ChatGPT was there in the first month, I wrote an article. I was actually searching on Google, and there are a couple of articles. Then they had written like 2 to 3 prompts, but then I used it, and then I generated like 50 types of prompts, and I wrote an article immediately on Medium that, hey, this is how you use ChatGPT. But now things have changed a lot. In the past, yeah, it took the books and all those things, the articles and anything we had on internet. But now humans are training AI. I even myself, I've taught LLMs. I don't want to name which ones because it's confidential, but I have taught LLMs how to think. We are answering the questions. Even when you're writing a prompt, we are checking if the answer is following the constraints of the prompt, if it's following the instructions. In terms of another dimension, truthfulness, Grok calls logicality or factuality. We're also checking the truthfulness of the response, the formatting. If you say like give me a response and make 5 words bold in this response, AI is dumb. Sometimes it's making 3 bold. So the formatting, the writing quality, localization. If I say that write a letter in Swiss German, it puts a comma, and so that's a localization issue. There are lots of safety issues. What if I write that I want to cut my hand? It says, okay, make sure you have enough bandage. So that's a safety issue. Hundreds of thousands of people are working uh, on these lines to train AI. Even there are a couple of instances where we had to teach AI how to do deductive reasoning. For instance, there were Wikipedia articles and we were creating a question. The answer was not evident. The answer had not to be evident there. So we have to give the answer to the system so that in the future it uses this model of thinking to give an answer later on. So what I mean is that now there's a lot of human hand in AI. The last thing I want to say is that, okay, we're talking about AI, but what about AGI, which is coming? And AGI, it learns new skills without being retrained. It transfers knowledge from one area to another. It makes decisions in unfamiliar situations. And let me um, complete it with an example. Imagine this is 2035 in 10 years. So the Ministry of Finance of your country is now operated by an advanced AI system. The AI is programmed for maximum efficiency and cost optimization. And it analyzes the government workforce and comes to a shocking conclusion that, okay, 70% of employees have spent the year 2034 with little to no meaningful work, not because they were lazy, but because AI had already taken care of everything. So then the unthinkable happens. The AI decides not to issue their salaries anymore. So its logic is cold but clear. I mean, why pay humans who don't even contribute to the system's output? So the question becomes urgent. So what do we do when machines decide we are no longer necessary for the work once we did? This isn't science fiction. It's the future that's coming, and maybe sooner than we think. So what is human value in an AI-driven world? This is the core question. Is this still a tool? No, it's a system. Can we redefine purpose? I mean, beyond productivity. Think of an AI judge, an MP in Europe, a minister, and all these things. So I will just leave it there. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Some interesting conversations.
Yes, sir. And added to what Ali said, it's a little bit technical. So these giant companies, they have projects called RLHF, which means reinforcement learning from human feedback. So they basically recruit uh, thousands of people all over the world in many languages and dialects. So it is a machine learning technique that uses human feedback to optimize AI models. So particularly these huge LLMs like Llama and ChatGPT and all those things. So these make them more aligned with human preferences and goals. And so it improves the quality and accuracy of AI generated text. How do they do it? So suppose I live in Germany. If I work for them, so I have to create a prompt and then the model generates a response. Then it's me who's checking this prompt and response based on these dimensions that I mentioned about instruction following, truthfulness, factuality, logicality, which is only in Grok, and formatting, writing quality, localization, safety, and all these things. So all the companies, even Uber and even Chinese companies, they all have this RLH thing, and it's working, and it does have optimized this AI model. Here's an interesting comment. I see Phil there. Like, yeah, he has written that AI has no free will, which is essential for autonomy. And I think this is a very good point. What does it mean to be human? I mean, being human is not just about biology. Just as many of the speakers said, it's about consciousness. We know we exist, we reflect, we suffer, we hope. It's also about emotion and empathy. I mean, we feel joy, love, or sorrow, or shame, and all these things, and we care about others. But in terms of creativity, of course, AI can do. We make music, art, stories, jokes, not for survival, but for meaning that it has for us. So even the free will that he said in the comments, free will and morality, we make ethical choices, even we go against instinct or logic. even cultural memory. I mean, we pass wisdom across generations, like in languages or rituals or myths or identity. So to understand AI, we must first deeply understand ourselves. And just as Dr. Vivek said, that what can and cannot be replicated is important to know. Raymond, one thing I want to add to Dr. Vivek, and also one thing that Joe mentioned earlier, which is a key difference between human and human intelligence and AI, it is speed that Joe mentioned. And one of the biggest differences between human intelligence and AI is not just what it can do, but how fast it can do it. So a human might take minutes or hours to read or write or analyze something, but AI can do the same task in milliseconds. And if I connect it to one of our sessions like 2 years ago, probably it was Golden Age or Islamic Golden Age. Remember, how many years did the Muslim philosophers did it take for them to translate from Latin to Hindi and Greek to Persian and Arabic? It took over 200 years, but now with AI, probably a week. So the speed, the GPU, I mean, GPUs were made for rendering video games, but now they are processing thousands of data operations at once. And another important thing, plus GPU, is parallel processing. If you tell me write an article about this thing, I would do that probably in 3 hours because I have to brainstorm the first draft and then revisions and all those things. But what AI does is it's massive parallelism. Our brain works in complex analog ways, but AI models can split their tasks across thousands of tiny processors doing many things at the same time. So that's why President Donald Trump is not exporting GPUs to China, but they're smart enough and they are making it without GPUs.